Welcome to Gunmark TV, I'm Chris Parkin and this is the latest Savage Impulse Mountain Hunter 7mm PRC with a proof research carbon fibre barrel. Overall weight is 3.3 kilograms or 7.3 pounds. Overall length is 1136mm or 44 3/4 inches. The barrel is 550mm or 22 inches overall. It's a totally smooth finish to the carbon fibre, and thermally it's been very resistant to movement when heating up, and I've shot it to over 1,000 yards with no great performance problem as it's heated up. The rifle is supplied with a pepper pot muzzle brake, but I think most UK shooters will prefer to use a sound moderator. It's screw cut 5/8 by 24 and the crown is neat and uniform. The forend fully free floats the barrel and it's stiff enough, even off a bipod, to maintain that free flow from any shooting position, so there's no problems with harmonic interference. I actually assembled this rifle at the Savage factory, and they use a barrel nut system to ensure perfect head spacing on the production line. The action is actually aluminium, but it has a steel core within it, and it has a full-length Picatinny rail to assure simple scope mounting. The rifle is supplied with a flush fit 3-round magazine, and ammunition can be slid in from the front, although the feed lips are actually flexible, so you can press bullets in from the top like that, and they will feed direct to chamber with no problems at all. The Savage Aki stock features interchangeable cheek piece components as well as length of pull spacers. It's supplied between 325 and 350mm and additional spacers are available. I've put a medium cheek piece in to give me better scope alignment, and it's a nice slim profile so it fits under your cheekbone without displacing your jaw. The rifle is actually surprisingly soft shooting and the recoil pad is quite squidgy. It's got grippy sections so it plants in your shoulder well, and it's got a radius top corner to make sure it mounts up easily. 2 screws hold it in position and these need to be removed to change the spacer system. The grey stipple synthetic stock is a copolymer moulding, and it's got rubberised checkering at both the grip and on the forend. The forend's got finger grooves as well as the checkering, and it's got a nice radius underside and a hand-filling profile to make sure you can get hold of it without your fingers encroaching onto the barrel. The stock is sturdy, and if clamped in a tripod like this, it won't give you any point of impact shift problems. A lot of people hear straight pull action and think they're all the same, and they have certain similarities, but most of them operate in a different way. The Savage action has a rotating bolt handle that acts like a pendulum here, and once it's fired, the bolt simply pulls, hinges here, pulls straight back, straight forward, and there, and it's ready to fire again. If you happen to close the bolt and don't fire the action, you can press this button on the rear, and that button on the rear allows you to open the bolt, which is locked closed until that time. This is the left side bolt release catch to remove the bolt, and here you can see the 1/4 inch steel ball bearings that expand radially into the circumferential groove around the barrel and chamber to lock the action closed. The bolt is a push feed unit, and it actually has a manual ejector, so the amount the brass is kicked out of the action is totally dependent on how fast you pull the bolt back. There is, as usual, a right side sprung extractor claw. There's plentiful primary extraction because there's a plunger on front of the bolt shroud, which when the handle rotates back pushes the bolt out from the action, so you're not just relying on pure heaving force. The 2-position tang safety is operable left or right-handed. Rear for safe, forward for fire, and it works quietly. You can also swap the bolt to the left side of the actual shroud here for left-handed shooters. Savage have fitted the Aki trigger with a central safety blade. This is a single stage trigger, and if the central blade is not pressed in, the trigger blade itself will not move. But when that's actually pressed there, it feels a bit like a two-stage rifle, and you still get a lovely clean break on the trigger. There's a full-length aluminium bedding block in the synthetic stock, so the action will come out and go back in without zero loss, and there's no implied stress that I can detect. Of course, the long aluminium bar that runs all the way down to the fore-end stud ensures that the fore-end is super stiff, and you can rely on it completely without any point of impact shift from different shooting positions. Performance on target has definitely improved as I've gone through the shot count. I'm up to about 80 rounds now, and I'm starting to shoot groups like these smaller ones here at 100 metres. I'm very impressed with that because, to be fair, even those will meet the MOA standard, but these are vastly impressive, certainly for a rifle cartridge you want to perform at longer distances. The 22-inch barrel doesn't quite achieve the full velocity stated on the box, but it is a little bit more compact, although I do think the 7mm PRC has had some reports that because of powder shortages in the US, it's not quite making the figures published, because it should be nearer 3,000 feet per second with a 175 grain ELD-X bullet, but in my rifle it's somewhere just over 2,700. The test barrel is a 24-inch unit, and as I say, I'm using a 22-inch unit, so you will lose a bit, but certainly no more than 100 feet per second should be shy of the published velocities. The impulse action has taken a little bit of bedding in. I got a few snags at first on feeding, but it does seem to have smoothed out as I've shot the rifle in. I'm probably on about 80 rounds with it now, and it seems to have got rid of all those misfeeds completely. But ejection is very positive. You just need to remember to make sure you're quite firm and aggressive with the bolt to ensure you get full ejection, because it is a manual ejector. There are sling studs, front and rear, both of which are super solid and will hold your sling securely. The front one is also stable on the bipod, and because of the lack of fore-end flex, you get a nice solid aim point. And if anything, I think I prefer shooting it from prone or from the bipod, because although quite a light rifle physically, shooting it from sticks or from the bench or anything like that, it is quite lively. I've been very impressed with the performance of the Proof Research carbon barrel. It's accurate and thermally consistent. I've not always been a complete believer in carbon fibre barrels for their thermal stability, but this one certainly does seem to give all the factors required. Bolt travel is 125mm, but of course the 7mm PRC is a shorter cartridge, trying to compete with longer Magnum cartridges. I'm very happy with these shots, shooting from sticks at 100 metres for hunting scenarios. Got 3 in the chest, perhaps a little bit low, but that was maybe my aim point. And then I got 1 in the head, but I did knock the target over. It's a fairly light, small muntjac steel target, which with nearly 3,000 foot-pounds is certainly going to get rocked around a little bit at 100 metres. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching that review on this Savage Impulse rifle. It's a super light carbon barrel, it's a very easy to handle rifle, very light to carry, and it's certainly very accurate with plenty of muzzle energy. So please like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to click the notification bell to keep track of the regular uploads. Thanks for watching, bye for now.